How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys your full moon horoscope for Sagittarius. How is it going, my fellow Sag risings and my brother Sag suns? Let's just get into it. So this full moon's happening on Wednesday, October 24th, exactly at noon, basically. Let's see. This full moon's happening in your 6th house. The 6th house not only has a lot to do with health, your employment, what you're doing every single day, your habits, your routine. It also has a lot to do with things not necessarily working out, problems kind of coming up, things dissolving, things falling apart. And Uranus has just entered your guys' 6th house. So you've had a good taste of, Uranus being liberation, freedom, change, extreme ups and downs. As Uranus has hit your 6th house, you've had some, changes with, could be your employment, could be your routine, could be your sense of service, maybe your health. With Uranus being in your 6th house, though, the 6th house is kind of like, the best way to put it is kind of like you have a house that at any moment could collapse. Not to put any stress on you guys or anything like that, but that's just the idea of Uranus. Anything could happen in your 6th houses. Things aren't necessarily so strong. You need to actually apply to them every single day in order to make them healthy and happy. But this full moon is happening in your 6th house. So we are lighting up this part of your life, the area of what you're doing every day, your routine, your habits, your health, what isn't working anymore. Now, this full moon is highlighting Venus because it's in Taurus. So let's look at Venus and what she's doing. She is retrograde in your 12th house. She's there with the sun. The sun's going to be in Scorpio. You have Jupiter and Mercury in Scorpio. This is all in your 12th house. Venus is retrograde in Scorpio in your 12th house has been revealing a lot of stuff from your subconscious. The 12th house is not only to do with, enemies and stuff like that, or bad things like that, but it also has a lot to do with your subconscious, what we repress, what we don't always acknowledge, our dreams, things that aren't always clear to us and that could often blind us. So with Venus retrograding right here, you've been revealing a lot of, not necessarily darker stuff, but more raw and real things have been coming alive for you guys. You've been seeing and understanding a lot more of who you are and what you really do value, and being more specific and being more precise with that. And that's been coming alive. This full moon in Taurus is just highlighting, basically bringing out everything out of your subconscious that's kind of making a problem. It's kind of like, with the sun being right there, bringing light to this area. Venus is retrograde, where you're starting to reevaluate, where your values are kind of at and what you're kind of focusing on. As this happens in your 12th house of your subconscious, this is going to be bringing stuff out. And it's going to be bringing stuff out in the form of your health, in the form of your routine and your everyday stuff, and even your employment or your sense of service, or what you're kind of doing every single day. This full moon is just helping you guys realize the problems that are manifesting out of your guys' subconscious, and where you guys need to become more aware, and where you guys need to be more, open with yourself, open with your mind, realize things that you repress, realize things that you don't acknowledge, and really see them for the problems that they can create in your life. This is a really big time to, if you want to fix the problems that are kind of going on, like even the little tiny detail stuff, you guys really have to realize where you're creating those problems in your own life, where you're holding on to things, or you're repressing emotions and you're repressing feelings, and realize that stuff, become aware of it, and you'll start to see the problems that are starting to come about. This full moon is just about realizing what the issues are and realizing what you have to do in order to fix them, in order to heal them in a sense. Now, this full moon is trining Saturn. Venus is also going to be sextiling Saturn, and Saturn's been in your guys' 2nd house for a little while now, where we're talking about money, we're talking about your material possessions. And with Saturn right there, you guys have been wanting to be more disciplined, getting your shit together when it comes to money, getting all of your stuff in line. Saturn being right there as well also creates a lot of problems with money, creates problems with material possessions and things like that. However, with this full moon trining Saturn, and with Venus sextiling it as well, Saturn's pretty healthy right now. And Saturn's really helping you guys kind of get established with your income, with your finances, with getting your stuff, basically, is the best way to put it. However, as this full moon happens and you kind of realize, okay, what's kind of coming out of the dark, what's coming into the light, where are all the problems coming from, and what do you have in order, or where do you need to restrict, what do you not necessarily need to limit yourself on, but where do you need to restrict yourself and be more, what's the word I'm looking for? conservative with your actions, conservative with how you're doing things. It's kind of like you'll start to realize that there's some problems coming up. It's time to conserve and better utilize what you have while you have it. Then that's looking at Mars as well too, because this is also Scorpio stuff. We are looking at Mars. So with all of that being said, this full moon is really just highlighting what the problems are, bringing stuff out of your guys' subconscious, bringing stuff that you guys repress and don't acknowledge all the time. And it's really just about, instead of getting overwhelmed and all anxious about it, chill it down, conserve your energy, and really focus on how can you get the stuff that you really want to have, that you really want to attain, anything physical especially, and how can you better, what's the word I'm looking for? Change your actions and your habits in order to be more specific about getting those things and not letting problems cause it, letting problems manifest. It's just about really getting creative with your action steps towards this. So don't get overwhelmed by it. Really have conservative energy with this full moon. So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and I'll be seeing you for your November horoscopes.